Hey everybody! So today I wanted to expand upon a previous video that I did when I first started this video series. In that video I covered some uses of the tritone sub and covered kind of the groundwork of what we use that concept for. I would recommend you watch that video first before going on to this one as we expand upon that concept a little more in this video. But in this video I want to talk about tritone subs and some ways that we can expand upon just their basic use. Okay, let's jump right into it. Okay, so really quick, a tritone sub is just a substitute chord for our normal dominant chord in any key. So if we have the chord G7, the dominant chord in the key of C, then all we have to do is go a tritone interval away from G7, which is D flat, and make that D flat into a dominant 7, and that would be our tritone sub. So those two chords can be used interchangeably with each other. G7 functions the same as D flat 7. So that's a basic recap of tritone subs and the basic concept. So let's talk about some ways that we can expand that. The first way that we can use tritone subs in our soloing is by piecing together tonic dominant language. This is just language that doesn't use any alterations, such as the sharp 5 or sharp 9. Here are a couple phrases that we'll be using in this lesson. Make sure that when you learn these lines, you learn every part of them. A good exercise would be to try and combine some of these lines together. For example, we can take the first part of this line and then connect it to the start of this line to get a line like this. It's important to be able to connect lines in this way moving forward in this video. Now let's incorporate the tritone sub. So just like before, we're going to be connecting these lines together. The simplest way to do this is to just play one line off G7 and then play the same line off D flat 7. Do this with all the lines I showed you so far. Get your ears used to this sound. Then let's start piecing some of these lines together. The trick is to see where the line ends and what phrases start on that note or a note really close to it. For this example, let's change chords every measure. If we take this line, it ends on F on beat 1. If we take our phrases and move them over D flat 7, we can look and see which phrase starts on F or a note that's close to F. In this case, we do have a line that starts right on F. So you just put them together, and then you get something like this. Here are some other examples of combining these lines together to get some great phrases. The last thing you need to do is resolve these lines to the 1 chord. This can be done by enclosing the chord tones of our 1 chord or using some common line closers to finish out the line. Here are some common examples of some line closers that you could use to finish out your lines. Now here are a couple completed 2-5-1 lines using the concept that we covered so far. Okay, so the next way that we can use tritone subs is to play off the 2 chord of the tritone. So to explain, every dominant chord has a 2 chord that comes before it. G7's 2 chord is D minor. So if we look at our tritone D flat 7, the 2 chord would be A flat minor 7. Knowing this means that you could play A flat minor 7 over G7 and it would work. It's a good idea, just like our dominant chords, to know phrases that just work over minor chords. Here are a couple examples of such phrases. So you could play any one of these lines over D minor 7 or A flat minor 7, and they would work over G7. So to start, you could do like what we did on our dominant chords and just play one line on D minor 7 and then move it to A flat minor 7. You could also link these lines together, again, like we did before. Use the same process. Look at where the note ends and see if there's a phrase that starts on that note or a note close to it. As you can see, it's all about connecting ideas together. Once you have a couple of phrases that work over a dominant chord or a minor chord, then you can move them to any part of our tritone sub and it'll work. I want to close this lesson with a quick etude over the classic song, Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me. In this etude, I'm going to try to put a tritone sub wherever I can. And I'm going to use the exact same process like what we talked about. Sometimes I'll play off the minor chord. Sometimes I'll play off the dominant chord. The more you use this concept and maybe even write out your ideas in a pre-planned out solo, the better you're going to get at them. And it doesn't come right away. You have to put in that time and effort. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about how to expand the use of tritone subs in your playing. If you like what you see and you like what I'm doing here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. Also, I'm open for online lessons. The school year's coming up and I have a couple slots open up in my private guitar studio. Make sure to send me an email in the link in the description below. And again, thanks so much for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.